overthinking, overanalyzing, worrying. If you have been struggling with issues like these, then use this track either in the daytime or when going to sleep at night to help you to relax, to move towards a calmer, quieter, more comfortable frame of mind. You can begin now, making yourself comfortable, sitting or laying down with a blanket if needed. And while you do that, I'd like to use those few seconds to thank you for choosing my hypnotherapy track for overthinking. If you like this video, please press the subscribe button below. It's totally free for you and really helps my channel to do well in YouTube so that I can continue making more free videos just like this one. Either way, thank you for listening and thank you so much for your support. So, settling down now into your comfy position, shifting your attention now into that calmness, setting aside this time, dedicating it to yourself, working towards becoming calmer, becoming more positive, finding that inner peace and comfort that we all need in life, to be our best selves, and focusing now, bringing your attention comfortably to the top of your head. Tension often starts in those tiny muscles of the scalp. So I want you to bring your attention now to the skin of your scalp and allow those tiny muscles to relax. Downwards now into your forehead and into the muscles of your face, your eyes, your eyelids, the cheeks, the mouth, and your jaw muscles, allowing all of these muscles to relax, to settle down now, and downwards into your neck, the muscles of your shoulders, into the tops of your arms, your biceps, triceps, down into the elbows, your forearms, the wrists now, down into the palms of your hands, and sinking down into each individual finger as well. The little fingers, the ring fingers, the middle fingers, into the index fingers, and finally your thumbs as you feel your hands become completely relaxed and so comfortable. Bringing your attention now into the chest and focusing on each breath now. With every breath you breathe in that peace, calm and comfort. On every out breath letting go of stress, anxiety. That relaxation now in the back, going down the spine, into the lower back, around into your stomach and your stomach muscles now, allowing these areas to relax and to let go. Downwards now into your glutes, the thigh muscles, downwards further into your knees, the shins, the calves, down into the ankles, that warm relaxing feeling now spreading into the feet, right the way down now into the very tips of the toes. Your whole body now relaxing, calming, and while you are in this frame of mind, receptive and open to new ideas and concepts, or things that perhaps you already know, but have yet to express in yourself and your behaviours, or just need to reaffirm to yourself. To absorb those learnings on a deeper level, let's consider the idea that you are not your thoughts. Thoughts arise continuously throughout each moment, even more so when we're struggling with overthinking, worrying. We can have many thoughts that either help us or hinder us. Thoughts that can be negative or positive. Thoughts that are in line and reflect how we feel, in line with how we feel, our values, our beliefs, and thoughts which completely contradict all of these things as well. For example, we may be worrying about something that we did or that we said. Maybe we were having a laugh and a joke with somebody in work perhaps, and you brought up something in light conversation that later on you then thought was a bad idea. God, should I have said that? Did that person think that I was being funny with them? Maybe they thought that I was being serious when I only meant it as a joke. Maybe they think I'm a horrible person now and don't like me. Now, take a step back from that stream of thought. These things can happen. The brain is programmed to worry, to look out for these negatives or dangers. Here, the perceived danger your brain is looking for is whether or not you're liked by your co-workers. Maybe because that's important to you. Trying to figure out all of the potential outcomes of this situation perhaps. And again, I don't have to tell you that all of these things are simply worries. The actual truth is probably far from the contents of your negative thought spirals arising from the primitive areas of the brain. But regardless of all of that, we know that all of this is just thought. Overthinking, worrying. Just another rippling of thought patterns you're so familiar with. And when we notice, we take that step back, a slow and steady breath, and we let them go. Hopefully next time we'll notice it a little bit sooner and work towards that ease of mind and control over our thought patterns. How about walking down the street now? Seeing a stranger walking past that has caught your attention, shouting noisily to their friends, and suddenly judging them on their look or their clothes, the way they're walking as well perhaps, and having a spontaneous, negative, judgmental thought about the type of person that you think they are, the upbringing they've had. Maybe in the moment you even fight against that thought, or give yourself a hard time for thinking it. Why am I so judgmental of this person I don't even know? And then we realise it again. Negative thought spirals, branching off into more negative thought spirals. Given some time, you wouldn't identify yourself with that thought. You're not a judgmental or unreasonable person just because of these spontaneous thoughts. There may even be a reason for these thoughts. Primitive mechanisms to identify dangers in your surroundings. Tribal instincts still present from thousands of years ago. Judging who you would like in your tribe, and who might cause problems or not pull their weight, and maybe even threaten the tribe and the survival of the people within it. Maybe even experiences in your own lifetime which has led your brain and your thoughts to think in such a way. Learned responses from childhood, the type of people that you grew up with perhaps. But regardless of all of this, Whether there's reason or no reason, the conclusion we can meet is a simple one: recognizing it as just a thought, and then let it go. You might have a negative thought about yourself. I'm useless, I'm stupid, nobody likes me. Maybe there's a reason for these thoughts. Situations throughout your life that you've collected and stored, experiences that back up these negative ideals and feed them, making them stronger. And there we go again. We've slipped into that negative spiral of thought. We caught it even quicker that time though. With a nice deep breath now, we let it go. When you're in a good mood, you wouldn't identify with those same negative thoughts. You might even have some nice things to say about yourself. That's because there are areas of the brain specifically for thinking in certain ways. When you're stressed, you operate from a negative area of the brain that is built for negativity. Just like when you're in an argument, you say negative things that actually you don't mean at all, and afterwards you feel awful for. When we are positive, however, having a good day, and operating from the intellectual areas of the brain, we can easily recognize the positive qualities, see the good in ourselves and in others as well. But despite all of these things, the answer is so very simple, and it is to stop with a nice deep breath now. Let it go. And realize it's just thoughts. So we know that thoughts drift through the mind all the time. Sometimes they're rushing through the mind at great speed, that fast flowing stream that we get carried off down. But either way, it's all just a stream of thought and nothing more. Only you can give power to those thoughts by fearing them, battling them, trying to hide from them. Here we're going to take a moment to practice something that Buddhists do regularly when meditating. And this is just allowing the river to flow as it always will, merely observing it flowing. Observing the thoughts as they pass, and letting them go. So right now, as you sit quietly, or lay quietly, you start to become aware of your breath again. That slow and gentle motion of the inhale and the exhale. Filling the body with oxygen, calming the mind. Physical sensations in the body now. The clothes against your skin. An itch perhaps. Noticing areas that are warm and comfortable. Bringing the attention now to your thoughts again. Becoming aware of that gentle stream of thoughts. Thinking about your concentration in this moment, or lack thereof, which is just fine. Or perhaps a memory of earlier today, or a thought of the future. I want you to just allow any thoughts to drift in and out now. Don't fight them, just observing them. letting them in. And it's natural to want to judge them. It's natural to want to follow that thought up with another thought. But there's no need for this added commentary in the mind. No need to label a thought as good or bad. Because we don't need to identify ourselves with that thought. Simply observing it, hearing it, noticing the feeling that came with it. And then letting it go. Starting to create peace now in your mind. Peace with your thoughts. Because you are not your thoughts. Perhaps a sound outside attracts your attention and sparks a stream of thought. And for a second then you didn't even realize that you got distracted. And then when you realize, a calm out-breath allows you to once again return to that observing state of mind. And allow the thoughts to drift by as well. Any time we find ourselves floating down that river of thought, caught in that wave of overthinking, just relax and realize that it's just a thought. Nothing more, and let it go. No matter how many times it happens, it's just a thought, nothing more, and let it go. Each time you do this, you create a pattern in the brain, a new way of responding to this experience. And with each and every repetition, every time you use this pattern, it strengthens itself and becomes easier to do. Calmly, confidently, until you find that those worries about worrying, those thoughts about overthinking, become just that. Thoughts, nothing more, and let them go. When springtime came, the house martins neared the end of their long journey back from Africa to their summer home in England. It had been a long journey. They were aiming for the rafters of a great old barn where for generations they had raised their young out of the direct light of the summer sun. One particular bird, which tended to be more tired than the rest, was full of worries. "I'm sure that our nest will have been destroyed in the winter," she said to the bird who flew next to her. "Then you will build up the foundations of moist mud, layer by layer, until there is a firm nest again," her companion replied. But the bird was still worried and said, "What if there isn't enough soft material to line the mud nest?" "Then you will search until you find feathers and soft, dry grass," her companion patiently replied. But the bird had thought of another concern and said, "What if there aren't enough insects to feed on?" "You will find insects," her companion patiently replied. "You are light, muscular, and you have quick reflexes." But the bird had thought of another concern and began to say, "What if?" And her companion realized that there was no end to the worries of this bird. And this time, she interrupted her and said, "Look around you. We've flown across the world. You're missing the mountains, the oceans, valleys and the rivers. This is the journey of a lifetime." For the first time, the house martin looked around her, alive to the present moment. She suddenly noticed the exquisite rolling English countryside, the warm sun on her glossy black and white plumage, and the soft currents of air. And life, which had seemed so utterly overwhelming, was in that moment beautiful and glorious. Overthinking, worrying, is a symptom of anxiety. And anxiety is simply a defense mechanism the brain uses to deal with perceived dangers. In today's world, we are fortunate enough that we experience very few real dangers. We have no predators to worry about. Most of us are fortunate enough to have food and water. We live quite comfortably and safely. But the brain still has its concerns and will always look out for those dangers, like it has done for many thousands, even hundreds of thousands of years throughout our evolution. It is hardwired into us, and it would be of no use to us to fight against this and give ourselves grief for what is at the end of the day a natural, normal response from the brain. What we can do is calmly bring ourselves into a state of comfort within our own minds, an acceptance that our thoughts are not always within our control. They are not always conscious decisions of ours. And this only becomes a problem when we don't take enough care of ourselves. Because anxiety and these responses arise when there is stress in the mind and in the body. Because there are so few dangers in our life, the brain instead is using this response when in the presence of stress. Stress is a very common part of our daily lives. Stress about bills, stress about issues with family or friends, our appearance, our skills, our future, and our past. It is all around us. We will then work to change the way that we perceive these things, to reduce the stress that they cause. Because these things only have power when we give that power to them. We create the negative mental energies that create stress, and we have the power to change this. And you've done it before. It's so simple, so easy, and you can do it again and again. Bring your attention now inwards, into the body, the sensations all around the body that we tune in and out of. The feel of the clothes on your skin, the feel of the warmth in your stomach and chest, the coolness of the air as it enters in through your mouth or nose, and the movement of the body rising and falling with that breath. Giving yourself time and space, that peace and calmness to ease the mind, to ease the stresses of the mind. When out and about, we can also train ourselves to revisit this calmness by taking a breath, a nice deep steady breath, focusing inwards again, gathering yourself, knowing with certainty that you are in control. and that you do in fact already have the ability to be calm and collected, and give ourselves a break if at times we aren't at our best and make mistakes. We are humans at the end of the day, and these things will happen. Thoughts are simply thoughts, nothing more. Let them go. While safe and comfortable in these quiet observations, you feel the peace and tranquility it brings you, and calmly accept the opportunity to confirm to yourself some important facts. I am a good person. I am in control of myself and my life. I have options, opportunities, and all the strength needed to make good things happen in my life. I have love for others, and in return, others have love for me. I am strong, but I am likely much stronger than I think I am. And I hope that each day I can see with more clarity that all of these things are true. Continue to do as you already are doing now in this moment, taking time for yourself, working on your self-improvement, giving yourself a break when things get tough, giving yourself space and time to grow into the true you, the calm, confident, in control you that you are right now. In time you will find your symptoms diminishing. Those same thoughts that were troubling you before have less and less power over you, until you reach that calm place where you can simply sit and enjoy the leaves drifting past down the stream, simply observing them without a care. You're sitting at the side of this river, on soft, luscious green grass, observing the gentle movements of that stream, the crystal clear water that seems like glass, the sounds of nature around you, the soft breeze on your skin. You can see the smoothed pebbles on the riverbed and the long grasses and plant life that live below the surface, dancing and swaying in the current of the river. You watch the movement of the water as it moves over large rocks or drifts around them, seeing the ripples that form in this movement. And as you do, you see a wandering leaf that has fallen into the river from a tree nearby. an interesting shape and colours of green merging into yellows and orangey browns. It moves smoothly and effortlessly, carried along by the current, until it gets caught, stuck on a plant at the side of the river. It sits there looking like it's struggling, moving backwards and forth in the pull of the river. We wonder if it will ever break free, and other leaves start to pile up there too. Maybe it will collect more and more, eventually stopping the flow of the water. Branches and foliage collecting in that space to form a dam. And then we notice it again. Just thoughts. Just predictions. It doesn't matter. Negative, positive, or neutral. We take that slow, steady breath now, bringing to mind that comfy green grass that we're sat on, the warmth of the sun on your shoulders, the deep sense of comfort within yourself, your mind and your body. And with a steady breath out, you gaze over to where that leaf had become stuck, and already it's broken free. And you watch it happily and calmly with all the other leaves as they drift and sway swiftly, dodging the exposed rocks, slipping in between obstacles and off into the distance. And we take great pleasure in letting them go.